I like our lips to match our words.
No, I got you.
We're not doing
Is
Kung
it matching
Fu,
now?
Kung Fu Theater. It's the Kung Fu Theater edition
It is.
of the Bill and Jason Show. That's what I'll change it to if I'm not able to make the lips match this time.
And I think
That's
you want
right.
to get down over here.
You're crazy. Actually, you don't need to do that. That's why it's...
Oh, it's
Anyway,
doing it right now?
Yeah, never mind.
Is the whole show going to be like this?
It could be. So why don't we just talk about
You know
our
what it
guest?
is? The reason it's doing it is because we have to speak to somebody all the way over on the other side of the world.
Who speaks proper
He
English?
speaks a completely different language than ours.
Yeah.
He sounds weird, so we're going to make him talk slow.
In fact, I think that the English in his languages has E's italicized.
It is. And,
think so.
And the M in his name is silent unless you pronounce it.
Hey, this is the Bill and Jason Show. If you haven't guessed already,
I'm Bill
Jason
Herman, and
Jones.
that's Jason Jones.
And we do this show every week. And our guest this week, if you're wondering who's that guy that's standing this over
Well,
there,
he's over there. If you can,
right?
can
If I
you
can
see
get
him?
my point,
He's
I'd be a
he's
terrible
around.
weatherman.
I'd pick his nose if I do it right.
So while Bill is trying to knit with his fingers, why don't I introduce Alan Marshall, who lives in the beautiful countryside, has a beautiful garden in
Andover,
the, United
Hampshire.
Kingdom.
He's in Andover, Hampshire.
He's
I know
in
exactly
Andover.
what it is.
Andover, you've been there.
Well, I know where it is.
Well, you Google mapped it.
I did.
You saw the front of his house.
It's right there, Andover, Hampshire, right
is
there.
it-
Alan was out there waving in his lawn.
Was he? Mm-hmm. Were you really? Did you make the Google picture for your house?
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh, see, I wish.
Probably the
I
guy
wish,
breaking into his house.
If only I had known when the Google car was coming, I would have come out and
damn Skippy, man.
waved or done something.
Stood out there in a paper bag only and just kind of stared at him walking by.
That might be what you might do. That would. Oh, everyone. Well,
Tell me that good Google Map picture wouldn't make a lot of hits. Come on.
So
See me in
Andover
nothing
is
but a
is
paper
a
bag.
beautiful place, and Alan is a talented, extraordinary guy who runs a disc jockey music service there.
It's called the Party Hosts. He runs that with Gary Evans. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. And Paul Taylor.
And
the
Paul
three of
Taylor.
you.
Oh, there's three of them. I apologize to Paul Taylor, who I'm sure I'm going to see soon enough, and he's going to hit me in the head with some kind of banger or mash.
Yeah, all very talented, all of you. So how would you describe your business? Like, one of the big questions is always like, how do you differentiate? How are you unlike every other DJ or wedding entertainment company that's out there?
I suppose the original difference or definition of us was that we'd all done the training. We'd all spent time, money, energy to do the training. We'd all stepped on board with Marbecca. We'd actually started to do the full day wedding, which at that point over in the UK wasn't as common.
Well,
Okay,
no,
so tell me
back
more
up.
about that.
Tell us about that. And what do you mean by you guys don't do full day weddings? Aren't
No.
weddings all day?
No, because in the UK the weddings traditionally are segregated into two parts. There's the day part with the ceremony and what we would call the wedding breakfast, which nobody anywhere else gets.
Wedding breakfast?
Yeah, the wedding
Jason,
breakfast.
you've got Jason's complete attention because he likes nothing more than a fine breakfast.
That's right. I'm gonna move over there and specialize in wedding breakfast.
Well, wedding breakfast is a term that was used up until about 100 years ago when it became almost obsolete. But for
So why are you
wow.
bringing it up at our show?
That's
How old
right.
do you think we are?
What killed the wedding breakfast? That's what we're
still
gonna.
like to use the term.
Yeah.
And basically, it's the first time that the couple break fast after they've been married. So it's their it's their
That's
feast
the next day.
meal.
Is the wedding
No, it's
breakfast?
not the next day. It's
No.
what you would call the reception in the States, where they've had the drinks reception. They now go to eat.
They have their cocktails. Oh,
So
when
it's
they go to eat,
what he's saying is like, well, what a breakfast is you break fast in the morning because you slept all night and you broke your fast. What he's saying is you just got married and that's when the fast begins. And then the fast gets broken when they bring out the rolls.
because everybody knows after you've gotten married, you're starving.
In other words, this is a reception called a
Absolutely.
different thing.
Absolutely.
See, I
Now-
told you, he talks a different language.
You're right.
Pay attention.
Thank you for
You're
translating.
welcome. No problem.
So,
Now, what traditionally in the UK would happen is that would happen. They would have their speeches. They would probably cut their cake at that point. And then the venue would almost grind the party to a halt
And then give it
Well-
to the DJ.
when they turn the room around, there's an hour out, potentially an hour gap where nothing's really happening, and then the evening party starts.
Oh, wow.
So
After
we
the meal.
kind of broke it into 2 parts.
Right. Which, honestly, that is not much different than what used to happen in the Midwest only 20, 30, well, more like 30 years ago, where when I first started to DJ, same thing. They'd have the wedding, they'd bring everybody over, they'd have dinner, and the DJ would show up around 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then after they cleaned up all the plates, after the catering had gone home, they would allow the DJ to begin, giving the room a chance to say, well, do we really want to stick around and listen to this guy play Build Me Up Buttercup again? And you get him to go, as opposed to that seamless transition that has been created over the last 30 years between the dinner and the dance. And am I
not so
talking
seamless.
towards that, what you're dealing with now, that we've been kind of dealing with 30 years ago?
Probably the closest is when we have when they say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to clear all the tables off the dance floor so we can dance. And then the catering comes out and they get the tables taken off the dance floor, so that opens up. So
Well, but I'm a little older than you. I mean,
do that.
they did that, but they also did what he's describing
overbooked halls.
in a while, where they didn't even allow the DJ to even set up until everything was taken care of.
Yeah.
So I know
Until
exactly
cleanup
what
was
he's talking
done.
about. It's
The-
just that for us,
the
it kind of went away
DIY
longer
weddings.
ago.
I mean, most of it's being driven by the venues,
Right.
and it's in the best interest to the venue rather than in the best interest to the bride.
Right.
Because if you think about it, what happens is the venue is needed for a longer period of time. So they've got them there in the afternoon, they've got them for the evening. They feed them the wedding breakfast. Then, because of obviously the costings on per plate for the wedding breakfast, some of the brides typically won't invite all the guests to the whole day. They'll have them come to the evening. So guess what? They get to sell them a buffet for the evening as well.
Oh, wow.
So the venue get to sell them food twice, and because they're driving the event, the timelines are in their best interest to get food out, get people served, get their staff the hell out of there, so they don't have to pay them anything, and then,
Right.
then leave it to the DJ to bring it home.
Yeah. And so what do you do differently?
Well, typically at a wedding, I'm there from the. A typical day for me will start at around 10:30 in the morning. When we turn up, we set the gear. We will. I'll meet with the client. Usually the bride, go make sure everything's fine and she's in a happy place. Soon after that, the groom will arrive, make sure that he's happy, make sure that he knows what's about to happen. I'll liaise then with the registrar when they turn up and make sure that when they're ready for the groom and the best man to meet them, I'll go and find them. I will then, while they go away to interview the bride just before the ceremony to make sure all the documentation is correct, I'll invite the guests into the ceremony room and I'll be playing the music for the ceremony.
Do you have many situations where the wedding is in a church and then the reception is in a separate venue, or is it most often all together like you're describing?
No, it can be multi different ways. It could be in a church. It could be the wedding could have happened several days before, even months before, because it's a celebration.
Okay.
So what I'm getting from this, Alan, is that what's most different about what's going on with you and other DJs, just in the first few seconds of you describing this, nobody does this kind of stuff except for just a few of you?
It's becoming, since we started putting this out there to other DJs in the UK, and that's through my good friend Derek Pengelly, and through obviously Mark and Rebecca coming over for a couple years. There's more DJs that are starting to embrace this. So it's certainly not as uncommon as it was, let's say, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But it's still an uphill battle because the couples don't necessarily see the value in having a DJ there all day.
Well, and how long have you actually even been DJing yourself?
DJing, I started my first wedding was December 1979.
Really?
Do the
Wow.
maths.
You
Been
are
at this
old.
a while.
I'm that old.
We won't tell anybody. You know, the cameras make everyone look young.
So
and
what
beautiful
made
on
you
this
say
show.
I wanted to DJ a wedding? I mean, did you get roped into it, or what happened?
Yes, I got roped into it. Originally, I was asked by a friend. My first ever job, I was only there working in a warehouse for about 6 months, and everyone kind of knew I was the guy that was into music. I was the guy with the record collection. So I kind of got roped into, well, you know what? We've got a hi-fi at home. Just can you bring the records? And at that point, I decided, well, okay, yeah, I can do that, but what if I got 2 decks and did it properly? Because friends had told me before, they say, well, you've got all the music, why don't you do this?
Right.
And enough people tell you to the point that you that think, well, okay,
I should be doing this.
it's a safety net. They already love me.
Right.
They're friends. You know, how bad can I be?
How did that first wedding go?
I went very well. I mean, the bar was pretty much low, to say the least, because you know they only wanted a hi-fi with some music on
Yeah.
there. So,
Right.
so as long as I didn't kind of muck that up, it was going to be a great party.
Right. As long as the music kept coming.
Music kept coming, and I kind of developed slowly but slowly. I was never really the mixing guy, but I was pretty good at kind of getting the next record to play.
You know, putting sets together.
Yeah, doing the programming, kind of working out like, okay, this is digging those gems out that everybody goes, oh, that's amazing. We haven't heard that for ages. We love that. And
Right. Right.
I became that guy, so I got invited to a lot of parties.
In some
To bring-
places, they call that guy the DJ.
Well, and what point did they actually start paying you? Or were you
Well-
just always that guy who went, sure, why not? I got nothing to do.
Well, to be honest, from the very beginning, I was
Oh,
being
good.
paid.
Oh, outstanding. He's
I
ahead of
wasn't
most
get-
of us.
I wasn't getting paid a lot, but my first ever pay, well, I got paid. I think about I think I got paid £25. Now this is 1979, and my weekly wages were about £18 a week.
Oh,
So
wow. So you got a week's wages.
I thought I was in gravy. You know, hey,
Right. Just show up, play some good tunes. Yeah, you got it. You got it made, and it's evolved enormously from there. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about the evolution of like not just like kind of what because you go beyond when you said something interesting earlier. You said they clients don't always see the value of having a DJ there all day, but you're not just being a DJ there all day. As we know, a DJ is just someone who brings in the music and plays the music. So, like, what other hats are you wearing? What other roles? You know, kind of how is that more multifaceted? To talk about that a little bit more,
And we
As
will
well
talk
as
about that more in
some
just a
of
minute.
the leadership.
You're listening to the Bill and Jason Show.
All right, so now we're back,
Yes.
and
Again with Alan Marshall. Alan
no.
Marshall is from England, Andover, Hampshire. He and Gary Evans owns the Party Hosts, and he has also just recently been made the chairman of the NADJ, and that is a National Disc Jockey Association there in the UK, right?
that's correct.
Tell us about that.
So you're like the grand poobah of everyone and everything, then now, right?
Well, I'm kind of where the buck stops.
Right on. You're accountable for
think
everything. Fantastic. So what is that? I mean, what does that mean? How many members are there? And like, what is that organization doing? I mean, here we've got the American Disc Jockey Association. We've got the National Association of Mobile Entertainers, which encompasses more than DJs. They incorporate like bands and all kinds of mobile entertainment. So what is it? What is it there? Like, what initiatives are there, or what's important to the organization there?
Well, the important to the we've got about 750 members at the moment on our books, as it were. We've got 7 branches around the UK. We're the only national UK DJ association. There's other alliances or going on as well, but we're the only national one. And it's through branch meetings, networking, training, education. It's trying to help DJs to actually understand their value, understand how they can improve what they're doing. That's not all our members. Some of our members are, pretty much happy to be the hobby guy. It's second job. So we don't force, you've got to be this kind of guy.
Right.
It's very much about creating an opportunity for DJs to talk to each other and actually start considering their colleagues rather than competition.
Right, which makes it. And what difference does that make?
Well, certainly in the time I've been involved with the National Association of Disc Jockeys, I've seen guys that have come along to our branch meetings that have gone in leaps and bounds. They've actually, the guys that actually start to think what they do is kind of has a value.
Mm-hmm. It's how important it is.
Yeah, kind of how important it is. It's always you're never going to get everybody agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just life. You will always get some that say, "Well, we don't need to do it that way," or
in every profession and in every
Well, and the truth of it is, nobody has to do it anyway. What you're doing, really, it sounds like, is creating new possibilities within an industry and within a trade that people at some point, not very long ago, thought there was only one possibility. Correct?
Oh no, absolutely. I think that there's a search for DJs. There's several kind of DJs that I come up against. There's the DJs that are aware of the possibilities out there, and then there's the DJs that are completely not aware of the association or the possibilities out there, and then you kind of have the guys that really don't care because they've done it this way forever, and no one's going to tell them how to do it. And one of the tags that's been thrown at me over the years is, "Well, you're just doing what your American friends tell you to do." It's like,
and what yes, you are, Alan. You're doing exactly as we've told you to do.
And so, what do you say to that?
Well, that's it's rubbish. I try to explain it to the fact that it's entertainment fundamentals. This is not about geography. It's about if you turn the TV on, if you go to a show, etc. This is what you see, and a lot of them are searching for that elusive silver bullet. Now, my only answer to that is they are the silver bullets.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't. All the rest of the stuff that you can go and buy, everybody else can go and buy. The only thing they can't buy is you.
He's been wandering around with David Carradine. Yes.
Walk the rice paper, grasshopper.
Grasshopper, you are ready to
Snatch
fly.
the pebble from my hand.
That's awesome. And so, tell us about you. Actually, have been going out on speaking tour. I don't know how you fit it all into your schedule. You're doing shows. It's high summertime for weddings and events and things like that. Plus, like every week, you and Derek Pengali are doing an evening with Derek and Alan, or is it Alan and Derek? I don't know.
I think it's Alan and Derek. Yeah.
Or is it Alan and that one guy?
Yeah, it is Alan Marshall and that other dude.
Well, we did a few of those earlier on this year. Derek's back in Cyprus at the moment.
Which is the reason why I can give him crap, because I'm not afraid of him when he's all the way over in Greece.
Yeah. So that's his secret hideout.
It really is.
The undisclosed location.
DJ
of Derek
Bat
Pengali.
Cave.
Right.
Well, to be honest, if you ever go to Cyprus and they know that you called it Greece, you may have a challenge.
Oh, well, that's true. He did give me crap about that last time.
But the reason for it was, again, it's about we gave up some of our time to actually go out there and speak to fellow DJs to actually help them, give them some ideas.
What were you sharing? What were you sharing with them?
Well, we were one of the things I was talking about was how I look at meetings, how I meet the client, and how that's different. And some of that stuff I've learned from some of my good friends over there in the States, etc. But it was kind of trying to give them a better way of just walking in there and telling them all about themselves and showing them big pictures of their equipment. Most of the guys that I speak to kind of understand that's never going to be the sales point.
Sure. Good.
But they don't know what to talk about.
And ergo, the seminar.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking about that and the state of the business, etc., and trying to kind of show the guys that there is opportunities out there and there are doors to walk through. They have to do the walking.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do it for them, but telling them just our story, how it changed for me back in 2010. A taxi drive to in Vegas, some guy out of the picture, that things started to change. And if it changed for me, and I was no different than those guys, then, well, that's a short amount of time. Everyone can do it. You've just got to care.
Right. And how has it been received?
The shows that they were received really well. We had our trepidations about some, because you're kind of putting it out there, and people can dislike the fact that they
Sure.
feel that they're being told what to do, and that's absolutely not what we were doing. We were talking about this is what we do, and this is what works for us.
Mm-hmm.
And all that happened was we started thinking about things differently.
Mm-hmm.
So by that process, if you start thinking about things differently, because it's the old thing, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got.
Same results. Mm-hmm.
So by just doing something completely different than what you're doing now, something different will happen, and you have to work. You just have to work on that, because you won't get it right every time.
Mm-hmm.
And every couple isn't going to fall in love with you because you're the DJ they wanted. So that's what we were doing.
And what do you have planned for the next couple of years for everybody else, as you bring this kind of education to disc jockeys at large, and for those people in your membership? What do you have planned?
Well, I think the important thing is it's really, first of all, it's about the membership. We need the numbers. We need to have more members.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least at the start. And then we need to have the content out there. We need to have the education. We need to have, last couple of years or so, we've had Mark and Rebecca come over here, fortunately, and we've got you guys coming over in January. So there's that content, but there's also, there's good content out here in the UK. Me and some of my close colleagues, we went and did an improv the other day. It's just putting yourself into a situation that's scary, and by the nature of that, you're going to change.
Tell me what an improv. When you say we went out to do an improv, what is that?
Well, we went for a day class where and we were being taught the fundamentals of improvisation. So it was really, really stepping out there and kind of joining in, or doing the kind of conversation where one's talking and you've kind of got to carry on with the words, even though live you don't know what they're talking about, etc.
Right.
So it was stretching us to think about what we're doing out there in a live environment when something happens, happens which is outside of your control. I know I've seen some great stuff from you guys, and actually explain that even better than I clearly can do. But it's kind of you've got to be in the moment, and the only way you can be in the moment is to practice being in the moment. So that we did a bit of that.
Cool. It sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
How often do you visit us here in the United States?
Well, not enough. Usually Mobile Beat. I didn't make it this year, but I'm certainly making it next year, because then some two kooky guys are in charge. So
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're going to be here, so people get and have a chance to meet you when they come and visit. When you come and visit in February in Las Vegas at the Mobile Beat Conference.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of my great joys of the last since 2010, when I jumped over to Vegas and went on my first Marbeka, was the fact that I now am lucky to have friends all around the world, and that's for me that allows me to. The training allows me to create something for my clients or whatever, but the real buzz is the fact that I get to share some of this stuff, and I get to spend time with guys that are on the same page. and that's kind of cool. That's for me. I think Bill said to me in that taxi journey, he said to me, "There's going to come a point where you'll just come out here to spend time with the guys." I'm there, Bill.
That's awesome.
Outstanding. Well, and that doesn't say like the next great idea won't emerge, because as you're talking about people like minds and what they're up to, maybe you
Right.
each have one half of an idea, and then it comes together like, oh my gosh, I don't know how many times I've come home with like, I've got something new every single time.
Oh, I always come away from Vegas slightly exhausted because I suffer from insomnia slightly.
Yeah,
so
that's one of those towns that I think everyone suffers from insomnia in.
They designed it that way.
Yeah, it's no, for many people in Vegas. It is an insomnia that you choose to have.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, when you come out during the day, you don't know where you are usually. It's like, what is this place?
When's the
I better
next
go back to
time?
bed.
When's the next time that you're going to do another one of your evenings with Alan Marshall? Or are you done with that tour?
Or is that
now?
done? Now is it mornings? Breakfast with Alan Marshall.
Well, that's still in the planning stage at the moment. Obviously, Derek, my good friend, is Pengelly is back in Cyprus, so I know he's coming back over here in September because we have our big DJ show called BPM.
Tell us a little bit about that. Are you involved with that this year?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We NADJ have always supported BPM because that's where the DJs are and the entertainers, etc. So we'll be there for the 3 days with a stand promoting. We've also promoting 2 seminars this year, and
Great.
so we got two guys that are going to be speaking, and that'll be branded NADJ again, trying to get across the message that educational training isn't a dirty word.
Right.
So we're going to be involved in that, but it's a chance to actually meet up and share time with our industry colleagues that not necessarily DJs, but some of them, the guys from American DJ Gear and Chauvet and people like that have Master Mix and our friends that support us throughout the year are also going to be there. So it's a good chance to just get together.
Yeah, it'll be great. I have to know, on the behind you is like the Wall of Fame. What is that?
I know what
that's
those
covering the wall. That's not just
Bill
fancy
knows
wallpaper.
what that is.
Yeah.
That's my 7 certificates from Marbella.
Outstanding.
Well, and Alan has mentioned it several times, but we really for those people who don't know what that is, Mark and Rebecca and Marbella is a training opportunity from Mark Farrell and Rebecca Farrell with emceeing and telling and storytelling called their Love Story Workshop, and they've been all over the world, including England, and in fact, I think they're going to Australia very soon and Hawaii, and they'll be in Las Vegas at our Mobile Beat conference that's going to happen.
Right. Well, they've been to Australia.
They've been to Australia. They are on their way. They're on their way to
Australia's
Australia.
this year, October.
Oh, is that still yet coming up?
Yeah, that's still
oh,
coming
that's
up.
still coming up. Oh, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, the schedule's right there in front of you. What's wrong
okay.
with you? Okay. But if you want to know more about this, because he speaks very highly of it, I've spoken very highly of it, and there's many performers all over the country that's spoken about it. You certainly go to marbecca.com and know more about it, or just reach out to Mark and Rebecca on Facebook. So I know it's been mentioned several times, and we really should be put out there that, we've mentioned it. You should know more about it as well.
Well, and Alan probably made a bigger investment than anybody here that has it in their backyard, because you had to how many times did you fly over here to actually do the workshops?
4 times.
4 times. 4 times.
Yeah.
That's like a major investment.
Well,
Even when we think of our friends in Australia that fly over to do training over here,
Exactly.
like the kind of investment that they're making to do that, and by comparison, like right here, it's nothing by comparison.
Very few people have had the kind of impact on an industry as these two people have. I mean, look at Alan is a perfect example of this, and the kind of work that he does now is a direct result of the kind of impact that Mark and Rebecca have made. So, without making a huge commercial about these two people that I care about. This is what he's talking about when he's talking about this.
The huge commercial about the two people he cares about.
Well, yeah, come on.
It changed my world. It changed my life.
Yeah.
Just going to that first workshop and everything, because I was just like, I was at a point in my career where it wasn't really even a career at that point. It was kind of the second job.
Right. It's just kind of what you're doing.
Yeah. That first workshop and meeting you guys over there was, I just can't even quantify how that changed me in not just a performer, but in a person. They were amazing. I mean, I've championed them over here in the UK, and I will continue to champion because they absolutely can change lives.
That's awesome. We're wrapping up here, but I want to know, like, what do you love about being a wedding entertainer? What do you love most about being a wedding entertainer as you do it now?
As I do it now, I would say it's that look on the couple's face when I turn up on the morning of their wedding, and their look of complete trust that they know that the guy that they've built a friendship with is absolutely going to do. I will fall on my sword if I have to for them, because there is no other reason for me to be there. And that reaction that I now get that wasn't there before, and now most of my clients become friends. That just blows me away. That's amazing.
And finally, the answer to our question at the beginning of the show: what sets you apart?
Yes,
he brings a sword.
And and we do want to see video if you do indeed ever fall
if you
on
actually
it.
fall on that sword, that's going to go viral, man.
Yeah, crazy, like
It's
nuts.
crazy.
Like the commitment this guy has. He fell on his sword for this couple.
I tell you, this is one of our favorite little shows. We do this on a regular basis. If you haven't tuned into the Bill and Jason show yet, and you're just finding us, we've been doing this for over a year now. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on YouTube. We've got a Facebook page. We've got a Twitter page. You can go to BillAndJasonShow.com and see the shows and listen to the shows. Be a part of our little community. Be a part of all of this. We love it, and we want to keep doing it for you. So tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Email us, comment, all that stuff.
Yep, and the comments you can leave right below here on YouTube if you're on the page. If you're listening to this audio, it's BillAndJasonShow.com. And if you want to hear more from me, well, you can listen to Mobile Music Thursday.
Yes, you can.
Yes, and there's a whole lineup of shows every night of the week here on DJN TV. Just hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
That's Bill Herman Bill Herman.
Hi.
I'm Bill Herman. I'm still getting this down. I just pointed at Alan. That's anyway. This is the end of the show. Bye.
Bye.
Broadcasting from high atop planet Earth at a rate of 96 kilobytes sampled per second over the interweb in an effort to stop glorifying being busy. This has been an entertainment experience production.